Okay, so the objective is to cover what is a LAN. So LAN stands for Local Area Network. And the simplest way to understand that is you've got this thing called a switch that has a bunch of connections on it, and your computers are going to connect to this switch through a network interface card. And you've got a bunch of these switches in your office. So you'll sit at an office somewhere, and at your desk you'll have a jack. You'll connect the jack to your computer. Behind the scenes, that will connect to the switch. And you'll generally see a switch kind of drawn like that. And just to understand the local area network, you'll have this thing called an access layer, which is where all the users plug in. These access layer switches, which again are just the boxes that have the various ports on them, will be connected back to these devices called core switches. And they're usually connected on different floors, right? So in a bigger building, which you'll be working in at a Fortune 1000 company, this might be on the first floor, this might be on the second floor. And this cable right here is a category 5 cable, a Cat 5 cable, and this is most likely a fiber cable, fiber optic cable, because it can go a much further distance. So everything within your office is referred to as the local area network. And in simple terms, it's all switching. It's all either users connected to your access switches and your access switches connected to your core switches. That is the local area network. So we're going to go from the local area network to the wide area network now. So now that we already understand you've got users or computers connected to your access switches through Cat 5 copper cabling. In turn, they're connected to core switches. Well, eventually you want to get out to the internet, so you're going to connect to these things called routers, which, think of them as just a way to connect to a telecom circuit. So this could be something like a T1, or it could be a DS3. These are just different types of circuits, right? And that will eventually connect you to the cloud or the wide area network. So in your home environment, the wide area network is always the internet. But for a company such as a Fortune 1000 company, they're going to have lots of these locations that have users with switches and then a router that connects to a WAN, but that WAN may in fact end up being not the internet, but what's referred to as a private WAN. And the most common private WAN is this thing called Mpls, which does not stand for Minneapolis. It stands for multi-protocol label switching. And it's just a way where you can have multiple locations that have the same exact thing going on. So you'll have a router on this side, and this might be a smaller location that just has one switch. So this might be a big location that has thousands of people. This might be a smaller location that just has 20 people or 100 people. But the concept is you always have a router that connects you to the WAN through some kind of telecom circuit. And the router in turn is connected to your local area network here, which is the switch basically. And this is just a whole lot of that happening with lots and lots of sites. So if this is your Minnesota site, you will have another site in Illinois and another site in Arizona, and they all have routers that have a circuit that connect back to the Mpls network. So this is a typical Fortune 1000 environment. So now you understand the WAN side of things also.